On la lama shirmala, Paterim ko yitzurni pra, Leet naso behefsako, Azamala Shabu papira da dulu
It's the
papa,
ragtime mass.
Ave Maria, Jesus, good to see you. Doing the Vatican, doing the Vatican, doing the Vatican.
Yeah, the Vatican rag.
Wait.
That is right.
Okay, I love the Vatican rag. But I'm not going to do it at the temple.
Right, we'll figure it out.
Do I have a minute before?
Sure, it's 6 p.m., so we are live now, but we'll give everyone just a minute if more people want to come in, if anyone needs to scratch their nose or do a little circuit or open their books, etc. That's wonderful. That's the highlight of my day, so thank you, Jack. Shabbat Shalom. Good to see you. I have actually. I follow him. He sings, he makes his dogs say prayers before they eat. Yeah. Yeah. He's got an incredible voice. This is Manti Patinkin for all those joining us online. We're talking about wonderful singers who've contributed so wonderfully to our culture. Ooh. Let me double check actually that I have all of my things before we begin our service. Got these, got my announcements, all good. Perfect. Do 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 do. Booba dooba 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 doo. All right, and then let me double check my page numbers. A real. Do 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 do. Okay. Glug. So, my darlings, we are going to start with Shalom Aleichem, that lovely, grounded greeting where we imagine the angels are descending and greeting one another over our shoulders in delight that we are finally at Friday night. So I invite you, if you don't know the words off by heart, to turn to page 5 or whatever siddur you're in. And Shalom Aleichem is that final little ditty on the bottom of the page. And we say Shalom Aleichem to everyone here, whether you're live in person or virtually on our website or on YouTube. Greetings and Shalom Aleichem. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Boachem, Boachem L'Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Marchuni L'Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Seitem L'Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Kadosh Baruch Hu. On page 11, we have Lehu Neranana. Lehu Neranana, Lehu Neranana, Lehu Neranana, Ladonai. Lehu Neranana, Lehu Neranana, Lehu Neranana, Ladonai. Naria, Litzur Yishenu, Nekad Mahapetodar. Naria, Litzur Yishenu, Bizmirot Naria lo. Lehu Neranana, Lehu Neranana, Lehu Neranana, Ladonai. Lehu Neranana, Lehu Neranana, Lehu Neranana, Ladonai. Ki el gadol Adonai melech gadol al kol Elohim. Neranana lifnei. Bottom of page 12, the conclusion of Psalm 95. Arba'im shana akut bador, ve'oma am toev levavhem, vehem lo yeda'u derachai, asher nishbati v'yapihi, im yavo'uhun el menuchati. Next up is Shiru Ladonai, Shir Chadash, sing a new song unto God. And so I always love to choose a modern song to this that is indeed a new song, i.e. at least written in the 20th century. So it is Julie Silver's Shiru Ladonai, where she also slips in a little bit of English, which I also adore, because for those who are not fluent Hebrew speakers, you can understand the essence of the song. So hopefully you know it. We've done this many, many times. It's short and sweet. Sing a new song to God. Shiru Ladonai kol haaretz, Shiru Ladonai shir chadash. That happens again. Shiru Ladonai kol haaretz, Shir Chadash. Sing unto God, all the earth, a new song. I will sing unto God a new song. Sing unto God, and we'll all sing along. All the earth, a new song unto God. Adonai kol haaretz, Shiru Adonai shir chadash. I will sing unto God a new song. I invite you to turn now to page 19, which is the conclusion of Psalm 99. Actually, it's nearly the conclusion. It's Romemu Adonai Eloheinu. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu vehishtachavu Lehar Kodsho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu vehishtachavu lehar koshor. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu Ramemu. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu Ramemu. Bottom of page 20. Ramemu Adonai Eloheinu v'hishtachvu lehar kodsho. Ramemu Adonai Eloheinu v'hishtachvu lehar kodsho. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu Ramemu. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu Ramemu. It's always important musically to think about the ebb and flow. You don't want to stay too high, and Romemu, which means like sing up from the heights, let the mountains echo, because then there's no place to go down and you can't appreciate the ups. So one of the things I know that Cantor Aronoff always does is she really thinks about, let's do slow, up, very kind of lilting songs, but then some really fast-paced ones to contrast, because it helps each song stand out more. So from a high energy place where we're singing out from the hills God's praise, we're going to take it down to a romantic kind of melody for Lecha Dodi. It's Leonard Cohen's Hallelujah, which is an incredible love song, but also a struggle with his relationship to God, but he's essentially wooing a lover. And I think that's very appropriate for Lecha Dodi. So we're taking it down, and I think many of you know it. Because it's slow, we won't sing all the verses, because we'll be here all night. But I invite you to sing Lecha Dodi to the tune of Leonard Cohen's Hallelujah. We're on page 23. And I'll give you directions as we go. Lecha Dodi likrat kala P'nei Shabbat nekabla. Let's do verse 1. Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad Yishmianu elcha meyuchad Adonai echad u'shmo echad l'shem u'letiferet v'litila Lecha Dodi likrat kala P'nei Shabbat nekabla. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelecha ki hi mikorcha beracha Mirosh mikedem nesucha Sof ma'aseh b'machshava techila Lecha Dodi likrat kala P'nei Shabbat nekabla Mikdash melech ir melucha kumitzaim mitoch ha'chafa Rav lach shevet be'emek habacha v'hu yachamol alayichem la Likrat kala.
Likrat kala.
Pene Shabbat.
Pene Shabbat.
Nekabla. Next page. Hit nahari miyafakumi livshi bigday tifartech ami aliyad ben yishai beit halachmi karva el nafshi gala lechadodi likrat kala pene Shabbat nekabla. Second to last verse now on page 25, Yaminu small. Yamin usmol tifrotzi ve'et Adonai taritzi al yad ish ben partzi v'nismecha v'nahagila lechadodi likrat kala pene Shabbat nekabla. We rise if we can for Bowie. Bowie v'shalom ateret bala gam simcha u'v'tzalach toch emunei am segula boi kala lechadodi likrat kala pene Shabbat nekabla. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. We will continue now by offering up the psalm for Shabbat on page 27. It's Mizmor Shir Liyom HaShabbat. Tov lehodot l'Adonai. Tov lehodot l'Adonai. Ulezamer l'shimcha elyon. Tov lehodot l'Adonai. Lehakid baboker chazdecha. Lehakid baboker chazdecha. Ve'emunatcha baleilot. Ve'emunatcha baleilot. Tov lehodot l'Adonai. Alei asov alei novel alei higayon v'chinor. Magad li ma'asecha Adonai me'od mamash kam ish b'asha. bottom of page 28. Let's wrap up this psalm, Sadiq Katamar. Sadiq Katamar Hifra Ke'eres Balvanon Yizgeh Shetulim Beveit Adonai Bechatz rohot Eloheinu Yafrichu Od Yenuvun Meseva Neshenim V'Rananim Yiyu Lehadi Ki Yashar Adonai Suri Velo Avalata Okie dokie. That was our Kabbalat Shabbat, just to get us in the spirit of Shabbat. Those are such extra things we do just to enrich the service. They're not mandated. They weren't until the late Middle Ages. I love those additions so much. It's just purely for the love of psalms, of offering song and praise to God. We're going to offer our candlelight blessing now, as it is almost entirely dark already outside. We lit our candles earlier, but we can offer the blessing at this time. So I invite anyone who wants to join me in that blessing to stand if they can, and we will cover our eyes and trigger Shabbat in an even more official manner. Na 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 na. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav V'tzivanu lahadlik ner V'tzivanu lahadlik ner V'tzivanu lahadlik ner Shel Shabbat Na 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 na. Shabbat Shalom one more time. Mwah! Hugs and kisses, virtually and in person, to my wonderful people who are here. Feel free, if you know each other, if you pod together, to give each other a cuddle or a sanitary shoulder nudge, mwah, etc. So I have a question for the room, and my question is, because this is again a Torah question, why is Isaac called Isaac? I.e., where does he get his name? Bavakasha. Anyone? Because here is the classic received tradition that I was always taught, which is, well, Isaac, Yitzchak, means to laugh, right? It means to laugh. And it is Sarah, his mummy, who bursts busts out laughing because she is a 90-year-old woman who receives a prophecy that she's going to suddenly become pregnant. And Yitzchak, she laughs. And this is something that we are taught. We're taught in Hebrew school that Yitzchak is because her mum basically just keeled over thinking this was hilarious and wasn't full of faith that this would, of course, happen. She didn't take this seriously. She laughed. However, there's actually two problems with that teaching, which, again, if you just ask the average person, they would give you as a, this is because Sarah named Isaac. First of all, Isaac, Yitzchak, is in the masculine. If it was Sarah who had named him because it meant Sarah laughed, it would be Titzchak. And we see this because it's literally in the Torah. When Sarah laughs, it says, and this is Genesis 18, verse 12, V'titzchak Sarah. So she laughs when she hears the news. So why is it not Titzchak? Clearly, someone else did the laughing. And it actually happens in the previous chapter. We see, wouldn't you know it, that Abraham is actually told the prophecy a chapter before Sarah. And he laughs in response as well and before her. In response, he doesn't just laugh. Verse 17, chapter 17 tells us that Abraham threw himself on his face and laughed and says to himself, could a child be born to a man 100 years old? Could Sarah bear a child at 90? So he's not just laughing, but he's rolling on the floor laughing. And again, Yitzchak, therefore it does appear, is named after this moment and not after his mother. And that's also interesting because all of our other children who we see get named often after something that their mother says. So Rachel and Leah name those tribes of Israel. And again, this is just something that I'd never noticed either. I was told in my head, yep, Sarah names her son because she laughs. It's a famous incident in the Torah. But there's another slight complication to this as well, which is it's not just that actually it's Abraham who laughs first, because Sarah does. But Abraham laughs fully. But for Sarah, her laugh is very short-lived, because straight after that, when the gentlemen / possibly angels have delivered the prophecy and she's been hearing it, they say, excuse me, did someone laugh? She denies it. And she literally says, and it says, Sarah lied. No, I didn't laugh. Meaning she wasn't comfortable. She was embarrassed. She didn't feel okay. It wasn't safe for her to laugh. So why is that? Well, first of all, the fact that she has the reaction in the first place to hearing the prophecy means there's not good communication going on with Abraham and Sarah, his wife, because he heard a chapter earlier and didn't tell her. Because if you already know some news, you're not going to laugh, because a laugh is a spontaneous, deep emotion of surprise and disbelief. So the fact that Sarah laughs a chapter after Abraham means they're not talking. He, for some reason, maybe didn't believe it would happen, didn't want to bother her, or maybe they were just estranged at this point. Either way, the fact that she laughs a chapter later really tells us there's something amiss in our ancestral relationship there. But then the other thing, the fact that after this laugh, she shuts down and says, I did not laugh. It wasn't me. No, I was just kidding. Means that she feels unsafe. Means that she feels bad that maybe she was eavesdropping. And also it tells us, I think, that she doesn't trust Abraham. Because again, we haven't had a great track record, really, with this couple. He has lied publicly and told her to pretend to be his sister twice and put her in danger, and she's been kidnapped. Then there was the whole Hagar-Ishmael incident, whereby, well, she was definitely miserable the entire time. She understood it, but again, this was no warmth in the bedroom in this way. So maybe she didn't feel comfortable laughing in front of Abraham. The good news is that God seems to intervene, or at least our commentaries tell us that after Sarah says, it wasn't me, you didn't hear me laugh, there is a male voice that says, "You did laugh," and it's a male singular text. And we have Rabbi Yochanan says in the Talmud, we find that the Holy One spoke to no one other than Sarah, but is someone who indeed communicates directly to a woman and says, "You did laugh," meaning that God felt worthy, or felt that Sarah was worthy to be receiving directly some communication. And again, God doesn't scold her or punish her, but that actually restores a lot of balance in the text. That not only was Abraham privy to this information, and Sarah has to kind of learn it a chapter later, eavesdropping outside the tent, but God says, "I saw you laugh, and it's okay." And here's why we know it's okay. Because Yitzchak is called Yitzchak and not Titzchak. Meaning that what we're now acknowledging is, don't worry, Sarah, you laughed, but so did your hubby. Because we are now going to call your child Yitzchak, and he laughed, i.e., and Abraham laughed. So for the rest of Sarah's life, she knows that Abraham also laughed. And that is the ultimate comfort and reassurance to her, that it's okay that you had doubt, that you were horrified, shocked, incredulous at this news, because we're actually going to name him not after your laugh, but after your husband's laugh. And maybe there's a little bit of kind of tension there, because we're saying Abraham should have told Sarah, so Sarah wouldn't have ever even had to have laughed. So her laugh is valid, it's allowed, it's commemorated, and it's shared. But I always just end this chapter just thinking, if only they could have laughed together. Wouldn't it have been nice if God had given both of them that same prophecy at the same time? So that's my ponderance to all of you. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
With that ponderance, we're going to continue with the Baruch Hu. So I encourage all who can to stand, and you can please feel free to do the Baruch Adonai Hamvarach Le'olam Va'ed line after the Baruch Hu. And I will go flippity flip. Na 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 na. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai, melech haolam asher b'dvaro ma'ori, v'aramim b'chokhmah poteh sha'ori moving. Uma'avir yom u'mevih laila, umavdil ben yom u'ven laila, Adonai tzvaot shemor. El Chai v'Kayam Tamid Yimloch Aleinu Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Hamari V'Aravim. Ahavat Olam Beit Yisrael. I'm on page 40. This is our blessing before the Shema. ואהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני, אוהב עמו ישראל. Join me. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, וחיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך. The second and third paragraphs can be found on page 42. Adonai Elohechem emet, emet v'yatziv nachol mikol v'shor. We are on page 44. Malchutoho baratzon kiblu aleihem, Moshe uMiriam uvenei Yisrael lechanu shira b'simcha rabba v'yameru kulam. Mihi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mihi kamocha nehtar b'kodesh nora tehilot o sefele nora tehilot o sefele. Malchut chara uvanecha bokeach yam lifnei Moshe ze lianu v'yamru Adonai yimloch leolam va'ed v'nehemar ki fada Adonai et Yaakov uga'alo miyad chazak mimenu baruch atah Adonai gal Yisrael. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom v'hamidenu malkeinu l'chaim u'fosalenu sukat shomecha v'tatenu v'etzat tova b'lefanecha. On the bottom of page 45. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha, baruch atah Adonai, hapores sukat shalom aleinu v'al kol amo Yisrael v'al Yerushalayim. So much as I absolutely adore Rabbi Moshe Rothblum, I just felt a different Vashamru in my heart and soul for this Shabbos. So please join me if you know this one, and we'll go back to Moshe's beloved Vashamru next week. I promise. Vashamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat לעשות את השבת לדורותם בריך עולם. shvihi Shabbat vayinafash. Chatzi Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei Rabbah. V'alma divrachi rutei v'yamlich malchutei b'chayachon v'yomechon v'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael ba'agala uvizman kariv v'yimeru. Amen. Yehesh shmei Rabbah mevorach li'olal mulal mehamaya yitbarach. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'av v'yitramam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei d'kudashah. Brihu le'ela min kol berchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata d'amiran mi'alma v'imeru. Amen. We've reached our silent prayer now, so I invite you all to take a few minutes to offer up your silent Amidah on page 47. Feel free to use the Hebrew or the English, or just take these moments for prayers that you need to pray from your heart. You can sit down when you're done, and if you aren't able to stand, please stay seated. Your comfort, your safety, your health is paramount. If you're still making your way through your personal Amidah, please prioritize that. If not, I invite you to join me with Shalom Rav on page 51. Shalom Rav. tasim leolam. Shalom Rahav al Yisrael Amcha, tasim leolam. Ki atahu melech adon, lechol hashalom. Ki atahu melech adon, lechol hashalom. Shalom Rahav al Yisrael Amcha, tasim leolam. Shalom Rahav al Yisrael Amcha, tasim leolam. V'tov be'einecha levarech et amecha Yisrael b'chol et u'b'chol sha'a b'shlomecha. Shalom Rahav al Yisrael Amcha, tasim leolam. Shalom Rahav al Yisrael Amcha, tasim leolam. Tasim leolam. Hadish Shalem. Yitgadal Yitgadash Shemei Rabbah. Mihal Madiv Rachi Ruteviam Lichmachute B'chayachon of Yomechon V'chayedachol Beit Yisrael Ba'agala Uvizman Kariv V'yimeru. Amen. Yehishmei Rabbah Mevorach Li'olam Elol Mehal Maya Yitbarach. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitba'av yitramam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalel shmei d'kudasha rihu le'ela min kol berachata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata d'amiran mi'alma v'yimeru. Amen. Titgabel sloton v'thon d'chol Yisrael kadamu v'hundi v'shmaya v'yimeru. Amen. Yehesh lama rabba min shamaya v'chayim aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael. Amen. Oh, say shalom b'mromahov, uyaseh shalom. Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'al kol yoshvei tevel, v'yimeru. Amen. Please arise if you can for Kiddush. And if you're at home, please feel free to pour those glasses and toast one another. L'chaim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafein. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzafanu. V'shabbat kodsho bi'ahava uvratzon hinhilanu. Zikaron l'mahaseh bereshit, ki hu yom tehila lemikre kodesh. Zecher letziyat Mitzrayim, ki vanu v'charta V'yotanu kidashta mikol ha'amim, m'shabbat kodshecha bi'ahava uvratzon hinhaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh HaShabbat. L'chaim. Clink to all of your health.
Amen.
Healths. Plural somehow. We're going to stay arisen, if we can, on the next page, page 56 for Aleinu. לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצא בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסד ארץ, ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינתו זו בגבהי מרומים. הוא אלוהינו אין עוד, אמת מלכנו אפס זולתו, ככתוב בתורתו, וידעת היום והשבות אל לבבך, כי אדוני הוא האלוהים בשמיים ממעל, ועל הארץ מתחת אין עוד. ככתוב בתורתך, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו We offer condolences to the family and friends of Sally Russo. Her funeral was on this past Monday. And we also observe the yahrzeits of the following people that I have been made aware of in our Dat Ariel community. It's the 17th of Heshvan this evening, but we customarily are trying to read out the entire week ahead. So here goes, all of those in the upcoming week. Leo Sachs, Frank Slomiak, Leon Groen, Charlotte Rosette, Max Horowitz, Max Ginsberg, Israel Tabachnik, Harriet McDougall, Marcel Hafey, Diane Marks Levine, Libby Metzen, Edward Lawrence Hausman, Ada Silverton, Paul Blumenthal, Richard Brooks, Arthur Katz, David Weinberg, Farzad Lali, Benjamin Katz, Samuel B. Barnett, Peter Tobin, Nathan Jacoby, Saul Lasker, Stanley Lewengrub, Samuel Barnett, Ezekiel Coleman, Larry Smoller, Henrietta Dvorin, Edith Zissel, Sam Jacoby, Jacob Joseph Guffin, Kalman Gluck, Ivan Arthur Vaz, Dr. Chaim Wiseman, Harry Miller, Muriel Harris, Ruth Sigmund, Philip Davidson, Henry Hoffman, Edna Ramsey Bliss, Charlotte Dennis, Rose Sills, Stanford Woody Kaiser, Gloria Klein, Samuel Page, Muriel Ness, Francis Hershoff, Al Cordish, Alan Simon, Stanley Rosenfeld, Al Cordish, I'm a different member, Samuel Kotz, Stanley Rosenfeld, Jesse Goldring, Philip Cohen, Edward Morris, Bernard Urbach, Herman Exler, Ben White. We also have from our recently deceased Kenneth Krause, who was the father of Sam Krause. Any other yahrzeits we wish to say out loud in the room? If you're online, please feel free, if you want to share, to type them in. We hold all of them in our hearts, and we invite all those who are in mourning themselves or have a yahrzeit to say Kaddish Tom with me at this time. I'm on page 58. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah, v'alma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala uvizman kariv v'imru. Amen. Yehesh me rabba mevarach le'olam ulolmei omaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei d'kudashah brichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata de'amiran ba'alma v'imru. Amen. Yehesh lama rabba min shamaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Oseh shalom bimromav huya aseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. May their memories be a blessing to us. Just a couple of announcements, really, before we wrap up with a lovely Adon Olam. I want to say a big thank you to David Kamener, who indulged my musical choices and just said very happily, sure, I'll do that with you and for you, and worked out all the keys that I sing in. Thank you so, so much for literally being not only my right-hand man, but my left-hand man, and my pedals as well. So toda rabba, and thank you everyone for braving the cool winter evening to come in person, and thank you all for also tuning in online and putting this as part of your Shabbat celebration experience. Service is tomorrow, 9:30 as ever, and there's a couple of wonderful things coming up. Next Shabbat, we're going to start earlier and in person, for all of those who feel safe to do so, in the field, because we are going to do an amazing mashup of services, dinner, and baseball. So if you want to pay for dinner, there's food, there's popcorn, or if you just want to come and daven, that's also fine, but we invite you all to do that. And there will also be a normal service online at 6, because this event starts at 5, because I believe that's when the first ball gets pitched. Right? That's the right sport? Okay. Gets pitched. So that's going to happen. Mitzvah Day is on the 7th of November. It's a Sunday. And please feel free to visit the website, where we get to give you a list of all the things that you can do, and also all the different items we're asking for donation, such as shoes for children, especially sneakers, new shoes if possible. And we're doing just a variety of canned and dry foods. There are so many organizations that will accept whatever you have as long as it's in good condition, as well as certain clothing items and toys as well for children. So visit that website. There's also a blood drive. I think there might still be some slots left. Again, COVID protocols will be observed throughout the day. We're just going to be outside for this event, and we're going to be distanced, masked, etc. And there's also the Hanukkah boutique that is happening that day as well, with some of the stalls being in person and outside, but also because it was such a success online last year as well, for those of you who'd rather do online shopping, you will get the chance to, because the Hanukkah boutique is online as well as in person. So it's a win-win. That's my lot, at least for now. So big thank you, Shabbat Shalom. Let's with a beautiful Adon Olam. And Jerome, am I blanking on anything important? I am. Yes, that's right. Sunday morning at 9 a.m. on the 31st, it's not just the day of Hallows Eve, it's also a special minyan whereby we're asking Rabbi Bernhardt to get out of bed early for once in his life since he retired from us. And we're going to honor him. We're going to present some gifts that we as community members have said, we want to make sure you really know how valuable you were to us. So it's going to be a special big minyan. I believe there might be some breakfast, but we'll work that one out. And please feel free to come, 9 a.m. On the 31st of October. Toda rabba. Extra thank you there. So let's see where Adon Olam is in our book. Page 60 is an Adon Olam. So take it away, Mr. Kamener.
No, we're not doing it to take me out to the ball game. Sorry.
It's not on page 60. Adon Olam Asher Mala B'terem Kol Yitzir Nivra Li'ed Naso V'chefso Kol Azai Melech Shemo Nikra Azai Melech Shemo Shemon Yikra, B'Yacharei Kivdot HaKol, Levado Limnoch Nora, V'hu Haya, V'hu Hoveh, V'hu Yiyeh B'Tifara, V'hu Yiyeh B'Tifara, V'hu Echad V'yein Sheni, Lahamshilo, Lahachbira, B'li Reshit, B'li Tachlit, V'lo Ha'oz V'hamizra, V'lo Ha'oz V'hamizra, V'hu Eli V'chai Goli, V'tzur Chevli B'eit Zara, V'hu Nihisi Humano Hosli, Menad Kohosi B'yom Mekra, Menad Kohosi B'yom Mekra, B'yahadoch Avki Ruhi, B'eit Ishan, B'yahira, Ve'im Ruhi, Geviyahati, Adonai li, V'lo ira, Adonai li, V'lo ira. Good Shabbat!
It's the prayer that never ends.
Jacob, when he's blessing the sons, does this not true?
What happens when he does that? Joseph says no, and then he goes back.
Yeah.
So in Cooking, it says, why